every possible way in which poor people can be empowered, can be given a meaning and light in their lives. Another response, this is outside Lima in Chincha in Peru. Brother Blaze, an Oblate brother, has spent his life building houses. But let's be more precise about that one. Teaching people how to make bricks. And you can see the soil over there, it's pretty barren. And there then, Brother Blaze teaches people how to take the soil and to bake bricks. And you can see all the bricks over there. Then he and his team will put the foundation of the house down so that it's properly done. And the people who will be making the bricks will then build their houses, their adobe houses, in one very concrete, specific way of responding to the needs of abandoned people. A couple of years ago, there was the earthquake down there, and the epicenter was not too far from there. And all Blaze's houses fell down. No trouble, they cleaned up, and they started the process all over. Another amazing way of responding to the needs of abandoned people in Australia, a group called Rosies. It's in every major city. A group that started off with a group of young people at a beach resort called Rosies in Australia, looking at people who have no homes. And the priest said, come on, young people, we need to go and do something with these people. And they did something very simple. They take a hot drink and a sandwich and spend time talking with the people. And these pictures that you've got there, you can see the joy in people's faces. These are people who sleep under the bridges, people who sleep on the park bench. It's not that sandwich and a cup of tea or coffee that's important. It's the fact that another person comes with it, and sits there and smiles and talks to you. And I don't know how well you can see those pictures there. Some of the smiles are very, very radiant. The world of the poor, in inverted commas, what does that mean? AIDS. Africa, South Africa, so many other countries of the world have the scourge of AIDS. And the picture that you see there, the white-haired man, he died just this last year. He was 97 years old when he died. He started this house to look after dying AIDS persons. Not just to minister to them with sacraments. You can see a Zulu oblate up at the top there doing the ministry, but he was there full time talking to these people. These were abandoned people. We have oblates and associates in the world of drugs and dependency. We run a setup that we started in Sicily, for instance. Oblates going out with sacramental needs of the poorest, of the most abandoned. Father Larry Roseball, some of you will have met him, local boy. I met him in Guatemala a few months before he was murdered. The most amazing man, in and out of jail for various protests, etc. An amazing man. He used to work in Guatemala City with the poorest of the poor in the slums, together with the brothers of Mother Teresa. And he used to talk about the high point of the week was Saturday, when all these street people, all these slum people would come, and there were big tubs with water and soap, and they would wash their clothes, and they would wash themselves. And then while the clothes were drying, there was a nice meal given to them. And then he always said with a big smile on his face, the problem we have is that they steal the towels afterwards. Prison ministry. In practically every country of the world, we have oblates involved with the abandoned people in prison. You have it here in the US of A. The world of the mass media, you know about it here. So many places where we have radio stations or a television station, or are involved in newspapers, magazines. This is a very, very powerful way of communicating the message. I touch only on one, Radio Pio XII, Pius XII in Bolivia, which started in Siglo XX, which was the most horrific mining place in Bolivia. And the Oblate, Bob Duret, who started the radio, It was as a voice of hope, as a voice of encouragement. And it has changed tone depending on who was doing the persecuting. Was it the communists who were persecuting? Was it the government, the dictators who were doing the persecuting? Or was it the unjust social situation? Radio Pio Doce has always spoken for those who were the most affected. The groups, the worlds based on ethnicity and culture. The colonizers were great. They arrived in a place and they said, our country, our culture is the superior culture. So they landed up in South Africa. Everyone had to take on the Dutch culture. Or when the British took over, it was only the British Empire and the British values. That's why we drink tea and play rugby in South Africa. We were part of that setup. But the idea with every colonizing situation is my culture is the best. And so all the indigenous cultures were squashed. But we have a strong ministry in many parts of the world to teach the indigenous people the value of their culture, the value of their way of praying, that they are not abandoned, but that they can find light and meaning. The world of those people focused on justice, peace, and ecology. Once upon a time, we used to worry just about saving the soul of the person. But then theology and spirituality has developed, and souls live in people. Souls live in bodies. Bodies have needs. And we used to have very much the spirituality of tell people to accept this as God's will. One day they're going to have cake when they're in heaven. And the whole thinking today is totally different. Jesus came to establish his kingdom, not just to talk about something that's going to happen after death, but a kingdom that has already started now. And so it is important to be involved in issues of justice and peace. And the whole question of the integrity of creation, that's part of mission. And you're all involved in some way or other in this mission. Just one touching again on Bolivia. I keep coming back to Bolivia because I've studied Spanish there and I know the setup. But it also happens to be the poorest country of the South American continent. And there we have a picture of Father Gregorio Iriarte. Father Gregorio is now 84 or 85 years old. And all he has done throughout his life in Bolivia is to educate people, to give them the tools for social change. And you have some pictures there with some of the books he's written. And I went into a chemist one day when I was first there to get a cough mixture, and I was struggling with Spanish, and the lady says to me, are you a cura, are you a priest? So I said, yes. And she said, oh, what group do you belong to? So I said, soy oblato. Ah, la congregación del Padre Gregorio. That man there. Because he has had such an influence in society. And Evo Morales was the president there, very much influenced by and trained by Father Gregorio.